Chapter 2. The Floating Gardens. You wake gently as your canoe bumps softly against the edge of a chinampa, one of the remarkable floating gardens that stretch endlessly across the lake. The sun has climbed higher now, casting golden light across the water and the carefully tended crops that grow in neat rows before you. An elderly farmer looks up from his work and smiles, his weathered hands holding a bunch of fresh amaranth stalks. The Aztecs call this grain huahuatli, and it grows tall and proud in the fertile soil of the floating gardens, its red and gold seeds providing nutrition for families throughout the empire. "Good morning, traveling healer," the farmer says softly, his voice carrying the gentle rhythm of Nahuatl, the language of the Aztec people. "The plants have been waiting for you. They whisper your name with every morning breeze." You tie your canoe to a wooden post driven deep into the chinampa and step carefully onto the spongy ground. The surface feels alive beneath your feet, rich with generations of composted plants and lake-bottom mud, creating soil so fertile that crops grow with incredible abundance. The farmer shows you his amaranth plants, each one standing nearly as tall as a person, their broad leaves catching the morning light. "These seeds," he explains quietly, "can be ground into flour for bread or popped like tiny flowers over the fire. The children love them mixed with honey from the mountain bees." You walk slowly between the rows of plants, your feet silent on the soft earth. The chinampa is a masterpiece of agricultural engineering, built up from the lake bottom with layers of mud, decaying vegetation, and carefully woven branches that create a foundation strong enough to support abundant crops. Here grows maize, the sacred corn of the Aztecs, its tall stalks rustling softly in the breeze. The ears are still young, their silk tassels catching the morning light like spun gold. The Aztecs believed that humans were created from corn, and they treat each plant with reverence and care. Next to the corn, beans climb gracefully up wooden poles, their heart-shaped leaves creating patterns of green and shadow. These are Tapari beans, drought-resistant and nutritious, growing in partnership with the corn, their roots adding precious nitrogen to the soil. The farmer guides you to a section where squash plants spread their broad leaves across the ground, their yellow flowers bright as tiny suns. "The three sisters," he says softly, "corn, beans, and squash. They grow together, help each other, feed each other, just as we help our neighbors in the village." You kneel beside a tomato plant, its small red fruits gleaming like jewels among the green leaves. The Aztecs call these tomatl, and they grow wild in the mountains. But here in the floating gardens, they have been carefully cultivated to produce sweet, flavorful fruits that enhance every meal. The farmer shows you his medicinal plants grown in a special corner of the chinampa. Here is epazote, its pungent leaves used to aid digestion and ward off parasites. The plant grows wild throughout Mexico, but the farmer has selected the most potent varieties, nurturing them with special care. "This plant," he says, touching the serrated leaves of a small shrub, "is called toloche, very powerful for healing, but must be used with great wisdom. The spirits of the plant are strong, and they demand respect from those who would use their gifts." You examine each plant carefully, noting the subtle differences in leaf shape and color, that indicate potency and proper harvesting time. The farmer's knowledge runs deep, passed down through generations of families who have tended these floating gardens for centuries. A gentle breeze stirs the water around the chinampa, and you can hear the soft lapping of waves against the woven walls that hold the garden together. These walls are made from woven branches and reeds, creating a barrier that prevents erosion while allowing water to seep through and nourish the crops. The farmer leads you to his seed storage area, where dried corn kernels are kept in large ceramic jars, sealed with pine resin to keep out moisture and pests. The jars are decorated with intricate patterns that tell the story of the harvest, of the rain and sun that nurtured the crops, of the hands that planted and tended each seed. Seeds are the memory of the earth, the farmer says quietly, running his weathered fingers through a bowl of black beans. Each one carries the wisdom of all the plants that came before, and the promise of all the plants that will come after. You sit together in the shade of a small willow tree that grows at the edge of the chinampa, its drooping branches creating a natural shelter from the warming sun. The tree's roots extend deep into the water, helping to stabilize the floating garden while providing habitat for fish and water birds. The farmer's wife approaches, carrying a gourd bowl filled with fresh water flavored with chia seeds. The drink is cool and refreshing, with a subtle, nutty flavor that quenches your thirst and provides gentle energy. Chia seeds were considered more valuable than gold by the Aztecs, used as currency and carried by warriors on long journeys. The chia plant grows best in the mountain valleys, the farmer's wife explains. But we keep a few plants here in the garden, for the birds and for special occasions. The seeds give strength and endurance, and the flowers attract the butterflies that help pollinate our crops. You sip the chia water slowly, feeling its cooling effect in the warm morning air. Around you, the floating garden buzzes with quiet activity. Bees moving from flower to flower, collecting pollen and nectar, their gentle humming adding to the peaceful symphony of garden sounds. A family of ducks swims past in the canal, their wake creating gentle ripples that rock the chinampa almost imperceptibly. The farmer points to the ducks with pride. They are our partners, he says, eating the insects that would damage our crops, and their droppings fertilize the water, which feeds our plants. You notice small fish swimming in the clear water around the garden, their silver bodies darting between the roots of water plants. These are native fish of Lake Texcoco, thriving in the clean water that flows through the canal system, providing protein for the farming families and helping to control mosquito larvae. You sip the chia water slowly, feeling its cooling effect in the warm morning air. Around you, the floating garden buzzes with quiet activity. Bees moving from flower to flower, collecting pollen and nectar, their gentle humming adding to the peaceful symphony of garden sounds. A family of ducks swims past in the canal, their wake creating gentle ripples that rock the chinampa almost imperceptibly. The farmer points to the ducks with pride. They are our partners, he says, eating the insects that would damage our crops, and their droppings fertilize the water, which feeds our plants. You notice small fish swimming in the clear water around the garden. their silver bodies darting between the roots of water plants. These are native fish of Lake Texcoco, thriving in the clean water that flows through the canal system, providing protein for the farming families and helping to control mosquito larvae. The farmer shows you his composting area, where kitchen scraps and garden waste are carefully layered with mud from the lake bottom. Everything returns to the earth, he explains. Nothing is wasted. The plants that feed us, we feed in return, and the cycle continues forever. You observe the intricate irrigation system that keeps the crops watered, a network of small channels that can be opened or closed to control water flow. The Aztec engineers who designed these systems understood the delicate balance needed to keep the soil moist but not waterlogged, allowing crops to thrive in this unique environment. The morning grows warmer, and the farmer suggests you rest in the shade before continuing your journey. You lie back on a soft mat woven from cattail reeds, feeling the gentle motion of the floating garden beneath you, like being rocked in a giant cradle. The sound of water moving softly through the irrigation channels creates a soothing rhythm, mixed with the gentle rustle of corn leaves and the distant calls of birds. This is the music of the floating gardens, peaceful and eternal, a lullaby that has soothed countless generations of farmers and visitors. You close your eyes and listen to the farmer's wife singing softly as she tends her herb garden, her voice blending with the natural sounds of the water and plants. The song is ancient, passed down through generations of women who have worked these gardens, a melody that speaks of rain and sunshine, of seeds and harvest, of the eternal cycle. Your eyelids grow heavy in the warm sunshine, and the gentle lapping of water against the garden walls creates the soothing rhythm. You drift peacefully into a deep, restful sleep, dreaming of floating gardens and golden corn, of gentle farmers and ancient wisdom.